What's up, sports bettors? We have tons of games tonight. We got Monday Night Football. We have a full slate of NBA and college basketball. So, what I'm going to be sharing with you is just some player prop bets that I locked in. So, I have NBA props and I have NFL props for Monday Night Football. So, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So, we can also just take a look at the Monday Night Football betting lines very briefly. And again, I say this all the time. So, we got Steelers Colts. Ooh, thrilling game. But regardless, you can see the Colts are very slight favorites. They're best offered at minus 140 on a bunch of different sports books. Bet Online, BetUS, Pinnacle, Heritage. Tons of sports books offering minus 140 on the Colts. Best line you can get on the Steelers is plus 127 on Pinnacle. So Pinnacle, a low, vague, efficient betting market, you'll notice they're giving you the best line on both the Colts and the Steelers. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get into my first bet. So my first bet is from the OddsJam arbitrage betting tool, right? So arbitrage betting. What is arbitrage betting? Arbitrage betting just means because all these sports books, they set lines independently, right? You don't notice a bunch of discrepancies here. Plus 120 versus plus 125 versus plus 127. Not really big discrepancies. Nothing that jumps out to me as value that I want to bet. But what you're going to notice is if we go back to this Evan Mobley play, you're going to see FanDuel released his double-double line at minus 140. Caesars, DraftKings, and 10Bet are setting this line at minus 205, minus 205, and minus 234, respectively. Right? So we have three sports books all telling us this should be priced minus 205 to minus 234, and FanDuel's just casually at minus 140. So because these differences in odds are so big, what you could actually do is bet on Mobley to get a double-double on FanDuel at minus 140. You could bet on him to not get a double-double, under half of a double-double, so to not get a double-double at plus 165 on Caesars or DraftKings and make a risk-free profit. That's called arbitrage betting, right? Because sportsbooks have such different odds, you can bet on both sides and earn a risk-free profit. So you may be like, oh, risk-free money in sports betting, that doesn't sound possible. Regardless, I ended up locking in this Mobley play for 420.15, as you can see right here. But regardless, I say this all the time, is like, a lot of people are like, oh, arbitrage, that sounds way too good to be true, right? But like, sportsbooks have different lines from one another. That's something we know for a fact. We saw that in the Steelers-Colts example. Granted, the line discrepancies weren't that big, but sportsbooks, they want to be unique, right? So they set lines independently. And you can see on FanDuel, they have, look at all the stuff you can bet on. This is just one game, the Cavs-Raptors game. You have all these lines, these alternate rebounds lines, player threes, first quarter, third quarter. I mean, it's literally insane, right? This is just one game. So sportsbooks can't keep everything in check, So there's a rare amount of betting opportunities. You can see right here. Above a 1% return, there's only like 6 plays in my location. So out of the millions of odds, kind of that OddsJam is updating in real time, there's only like 20 or so arbitrage bets. So it's not like it's super common, right? But what it indicates to you is these are big sportsbook mess ups, right? These are big spots of value. So what you can do, and what I do, is I use this tool just to find line discrepancies, right? So like here, for example, I noticed, wow, we're getting an amazing price on FanDuel at minus 140, clearly enough to beat the VIG, beat the juice. We have 3 other data points, all completely disagreeing with FanDuel. So it's an incredible bet to get this minus 140, and I locked it in, right? Or you could have arbed it and made a risk-free 3.93% return, right? 4% risk-free every day. You can imagine if you could hit a 4% arb every single day for $1,000, that's $40, right? You do that every single day of the month, that's 1.2K. So even within a $1,000 bankroll, if you could bet that on 4% arbs every day, you would make 1.2K a month. It's pretty powerful stuff, just how quickly it compounds, because again, this is a 4% risk-free return in a day. This game is today. People talk about the stock market making people rich 8% a year. This is 4% risk-free in a day, right? Or you can just use this as an indication that, oh, yeah, FanDuel's way off. It's clearly a good bet to take this minus 140. Can Mobley still not get a double-double? Yes. Will plays like this win in the long run because we're finding value in market outliers and using real-time market data to inform our betting decisions? Yes, right? So the next plays I have are on Underdog Fantasy. And again, I say this all the time, but like, I literally just show you guys what I bet. So I gave out this play previously as an example. Winning streaks, losing streaks, I ride with you guys. And Underdog Fantasy is a pretty popular platform, so I've given out some plays on Twitter, stuff like that. And the way it works is any parlay you create, any 3-leg parlay, you're getting the same payout. You're betting 1 to win 6, right? So it doesn't matter if you take overs, unders, it doesn't matter what 3 picks you select. Any 3-leg parlay is betting 1 to win 6, plus 500 odds. 1 to win 5 in profit, plus your $1 stake back. So we've gone through the math kind of a ton of times, but for a 3-pick entry, because you're getting plus 500 odds, this is essentially minus 122 juice. So when you're placing bets on Underdog, you should assume that you're betting at minus 122 odds, right? That is their implied juice. And if that's confusing, you can think about a sports book. Like, how do sports books make money? You can see here, most of these games, you'll see what's very common is minus 110, minus 110 juice, as you can kind of see on FanDuel. So if you want to take the over or the under, in the Eagles-Titans game, you're betting at minus 110 juice. You have to bet 11 to win back 10. That extra dollar, you're betting 11 to win back 10, is the sportsbook's advantage. It's minus 110. It's not plus 100. You're betting 11 to win back 10. So on Underdog, it's minus 122. So double the juice of the typical point spread for a 3-pick entry. So what you want to do is essentially look for spots of value or plays that look incredible at minus 122 odds on Underdog Fantasy. So again, I said this before, most of these plays on Underdog, they're not profitable. Out of the tens of thousands of odds on Underdog, most of these plays suck. But what OddsJam does is it consolidates all that data. It takes all of this market data, compares it to the sports books, and then the betting tools, like that arbitrage betting tool I just showed you, and then the positive EV tool right here, are just meant to show you what bets actually are line discrepancies, what bets actually have value. So every tool is slightly different. Like the arbitrage tool shows you when lines are so different that you can bet on the over on one book, the under on another book, Mobley double-double, yes, Mobley double-double, no, and make a risk-free profit. What the positive EV tool shows you is just where are line discrepancies that are so big that the bet has a positive profit margin. And typically I just sort to see the highest profit margin plays first, and I just filter for the sports books I use. Underdog, WinBet, FanDuel, Caesars, PrizePicks. Those are the ones I'm using right now. Of course, like I use PointsBet, sometimes I filter it in, whatever. Like you kind of can play with the settings because again, the hard part of sports betting is there's so many odds on Underdog Fantasy. Look at this, like there's tens of thousands of odds. You can't search through these things manually. You need to make the data actionable, right? You need to make the data actionable. So the EV tool makes it easy because it literally just points out the highest profit margin plays. So here we can see Pat over 4.5 receptions looks incredible. All of the sports books, it also looks good in a PrizePicks 5-pick flex where you're getting minus 119 implied odds. So basically you just use this tool. I just use this tool and I look for spots, right, where bookmakers, they have the over heavily juiced, right? And you can see here, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, they all have this roughly minus 160. Same with 10Bet, BetOnline, Bovada. Pinnacle has it even, Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, they have this juiced all the way to minus 177. So all the sports books, which are sharper, more efficient betting markets, they're telling us, this play looks incredible at minus 122. So I locked it in. Right? You want to look for value as a sports bettor in the same way a real estate broker, an investor looks for value. That's all they do. That's all they care about, value. If value's in the tech industry, they're focused on the tech industry, right? If value is on NFL, Monday Night Football, we're betting on NFL football. If there's value in NHL props, I'm betting on NHL props, right? So this is the first play I went with. Clear value. Every sportsbook pricing this minus 160-ish. It's an ARB to Pinnacle, and the sharpest bookmaker in the world is pricing this minus 177. That's a no-brainer. So that's play one. Play two, we have Paris Campbell over 3.5. Same strategy. All the sportsbooks have the over juice. The over is a lot more likely to occur. We're getting crazy value. DeJounte Murray over 5.5 rebounds. There's a bunch more plays. Keegan Murray under 9.5. Right? DeAndre Ayton under 10.5 rebounds was another play available. Devin Booker under 2.5 made threes. Same strategy, different sport. The final one I went with is from the OddsJam arbitrage tool. So again, this tool shows you line discrepancy so big that you can make a risk-free profit betting on equal and opposite sides. So I checked this as well as the EV tool just to see line discrepancies. And what you're going to notice is here in the Hornets-Celtics game, FanDuel is the only sportsbook that offers these alternate lines on player props. So you can bet on PJ Washington over 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 7.5 rebounds. So what this pointed out to me is, hey, you should look at this discrepancy between Underdog and FanDuel. And what you're going to notice is Underdog is an ARB to FanDuel's alternate line, but all of the main lines are at 4.5 rebounds. So we're getting a full point in value. So we want to hit the under. Prize Picks has PJ Washington's line at over under 5. We're getting under 5.5. So we're getting half a point, half a rebound of value to Prize Picks, and then sportsbooks have met over under 4.5. So we're getting a point of value to the sportsbooks, but granted, the sportsbooks have the over juiced, right? Prize Picks and Underdog, they're fantasy platforms. They don't juice their platforms, right? Or it's the same price for both the overs and the unders. Anyways, I ended up, tracking my profit and loss for this Mobley play. I said it before, but when I started tracking my profit and loss back in September, and we're currently up, we've been on a bit of a losing streak, but we're currently up 46K. It says no promos, no fantasy. So promos like odds boost, I don't count because that's not an OddsJam play. That's literally designed to give you money. And then fantasy, a lot of people don't consider it sports betting. These are fantasy sites technically, so I'm not including it in my sports betting profit and loss. But anyways, we're up 46K. From live streams, we're up 11K, although I haven't done live streams in a while. And here are my plays on Underdog Fantasy. So Ayton under, Booker under, Washington under, 2 EV plays. This one we found on the ARB tool. Here we have the 2 NFL plays. And then here we have the Keegan Murray. So just replaced it. So a bunch of plays. You can see here 500, 1,000, and 1,000. Hopefully we can keep some, get some wins. Yesterday was decent, They have juicy payouts on Underdog, so you only need to win 1 in 6 3-pick entries to break even. But let's make some money.